The storm is approaching as the skies become darker and the wind speeds increase. It's been spreading quietly throughout the nation, but now it's here. It's 2023, and the nation's housing market is already starting to feel the consequences of the coming housing crash. It's becoming more clear now that many small aspects of this disaster will have lasting effects on our future as we know it. When house prices reached historic highs throughout the country last year, skyrocketing interest rates added some much-needed pressure to the housing market. Although there was a brief period of stability in interest rates from late December to early January that encouraged some purchasers to return to the market, the current spike in rates indicates that activity in the housing sector is once again coming to a halt. Whether or not housing prices will continue to slow down in 2023 is a topic of debate among economists. The total housing supply in the country remains restricted because people who bought houses in previous years at exceptionally cheap mortgage rates are staying behind. Along with this, new house development decreased yet again in January, marking the fifth consecutive monthly loss. Due to a lack of available properties, the market has not seen significant price reductions, leaving many people, particularly first-time buyers, unable to purchase a house. Although property prices are still high when compared to the same period a year ago, they are not quite as extreme as they were in early 2022. A lot will rely on the direction of mortgage rates in 2023 to determine the extent to which house prices will fall. February 2023 housing market predictions. Experts in the housing market continue to keep an eye on the economy as we go into 2023, which is being pushed in many different ways by factors such as rising inflation, steep interest rates, continuous geopolitical concerns, and recession worries. But regardless, there are also some signs which show that the housing market is beginning to grow. The mortgage interest rate is expected to decrease from its 20-year peak in late 2023. According to the National Association of Realtors, the median price of an existing house in December was $366,900, an increase of 2.3% over the same month a year earlier. The year-over-year gain was smaller than in November, despite the fact that this is the 130th consecutive month in which prices have gone up. Existing house prices have continued to fall on a monthly basis and are now down almost 11% from June's all-time high of $413,800. Total existing home sales fell 1.5% from November to December, the 11th straight monthly decline, and were down 34% from a year ago, according to NAR data. Despite the conflicting information, some industry analysts are optimistic about the housing market in 2023. Markets in approximately half of the nation are anticipated to give potential buyers cheaper pricing compared to last year, according to Lawrence Yun, the chief economist at NAR. Others anticipate a full-fledged recovery of the housing market this year as returning home buyers boost sales activity. According to NAR senior economist and head of forecasting Nadia Evangelo, it appears we have already passed the bottom of the low house sales activity. As for the housing market, we anticipate it to come around in 2023 and recover in 2024 due to the stabilization of mortgage rates of around 6%. Housing inventory outlook for February 2023. Since the 2008 housing meltdown, when the production of new houses dropped dramatically, a lack of available homes has been a problem. And by 2023, it still won't have completely recovered. As a result of the housing supply being trapped at near-record lows, demand has been pushed up in comparison to prior downturns, supporting higher house prices. According to Robert Frick, corporate economist at Navy Federal Credit Union, December's existing home sales data struck the losing trifecta of fewer sales, smaller inventory, and higher prices. According to NAR, there is now a 2.9-month supply of inventories at the current sales rate. This is a decrease from November's number of 3.3 months, but an increase from 2021's 1.7 months. The evidence has led specialists in the field to form a pessimistic assessment of when inventory levels will return to normal. According to Adam Data's Senior Vice President of Market Intelligence, I anticipate that we are likely to see limited inventory continuing to trouble a housing market into 2023. However, according to Sharga, a flood of houses is not anticipated since 70% of current homeowners have mortgage rates of 4% or less, according to the most recent numbers from the U.S. Census Bureau and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Single-family home starts dropped 4.3% in January, and construction permits dropped 1.8% from the previous month. There is still, however, a possibility for improvement. According to the latest National Association of Home Builders (PTNHB) February report, builder confidence rose from 35 to 42. After 12 straight months of reductions, this is the second consecutive monthly rise. But builder confidence is still low. A reading of 50 or higher indicates that more builders perceive favorable circumstances ahead. Thus, more consecutive increases are needed before we see a meaningful resurgence in new buildings. Overall, there simply isn't a plausible scenario that leads to inventory levels nearing historically typical amounts in 2023, says Sharga. So new buyers will still have to put in the effort to locate a property to purchase. Should we expect a collapse in the housing market? Many analysts believe that the housing market will eventually adjust itself from the double-digit percentage increases observed in house prices over the previous several years, rather than collapse. As Yun puts it, after a significant rise over the last 2 years, there will practically be no change countrywide in property prices in 2023. But still, there are many who think house sales and prices might rise again in certain regions, especially in places where housing costs have stayed manageable in recent years in comparison to average wages. Around the country, we're expecting roughly a 5% decline, says Sharga. Incredibly, prices are likely to rise more in certain markets. A large proportion of borrowers now have positive equity in their houses, which puts today's homeowners in a considerably stronger position than those who emerged from the 2008 financial crisis. As a result, a collapse of the property market seems unlikely. According to Zillow analyst Nicole Batchad, homeowner equity is at the greatest level it's been in the previous few decades, so homeowners have a lot of value in their property. Batchad also adds that there has been a reduction in the inherent dangers of mortgage products. She explains that after 2008, the mortgage industry has been strengthened by new laws and limits, making it less unpredictable and hazardous. In a housing market meltdown, house prices and sales often fall by 20% to 30%, which is far higher than the present situation. Should one buy a house in 2023? The choice to buy a home is a personal one, regardless of the housing market. Most people's houses are the biggest purchase they'll ever make in their life. Therefore, it's important for them to be financially stable before making this investment. The greatest plan for purchasing a house this year is not to try to guess what will happen. Nita Navab, head of the U.S. region at Compass, a real estate business, warns that buyers sitting on the sidelines now in expectation of reduced prices tomorrow may end up disappointed. Although Mavab anticipates a slowdown in the housing market's hottest regions, she does not anticipate a nationwide price drop on a level with that which occurred after the 2008 financial crisis. Experts recommend that you purchase a property now that fits your budget and requirements, rather than waiting for prices to drop significantly. If you locate a house that you like in a neighborhood that you like and is within your price range, it may be the perfect home for you. While getting a home is important, sacrificing too much of your life for it might lead to a buyer's regret and the subsequent need to sell the property. So we have got some tips which will help your decision of buying a house much easier. Tips for buying in today's housing market. First, you should make a plan and then stick to it. There has been a modest increase in the number of houses on the market, but purchasers still face high prices and mortgage rates approaching 7%. Mrs. Tayanaka, the owner of the Coast to Canyon Agency in Orange County, California, says the greatest concern right now is the disconnection between buyers and sellers. Both the buyers and the sellers are looking for a bargain. While buyers have more freedom to maneuver at the moment, they should not lose sight of the fact that the market is still tilted in favor of sellers. We also have some tips for the sellers. Tips for selling in today's housing market. The first step toward a successful sale is to choose a listing agent who is familiar with the neighborhood and is highly recommended. A professional real estate agent can help you determine a fair market value for your house and respond to inquiries from potential buyers. Tayanaka sees the large number of properties that have lately fallen out of escrow as a warning story for sellers who continue to want 2021 pricing. Although there is still a chance that the market will be in your favor. But if you want to sell your property quickly, it is in your best interest to make it seem as good as possible. It's true that not everyone has spare money to put toward home improvements, but even a little amount of extra income may yield significant results. The first order of business is to clean, organize, and get rid of any junk. Even if your house is old, cleanliness helps purchasers to imagine themselves in the environment, which boosts your chances of selling. That's all for today, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for any new updates. See you in the next one.